Most older homes were not designed by accident. Bedrooms in particular followed quiet rules shaped by cold winters, limited fuel, poor insulation, and the need for real rest after physical labor. What gets forgotten today is that these layouts were practical systems, not decoration choices. When you study how grandparents arranged their sleeping spaces, you find methods that still work, even inside modern houses with drywall, HVAC, and electric lighting. Beds were placed to control heat loss, not to center the room. The bed was rarely placed in the middle of a bedroom. It was positioned against an interior wall, never an exterior one if it could be avoided. Exterior walls pulled heat away, especially in brick or stone houses. An interior wall shared warmth with the rest of the home and reduced drafts. Beds were also kept away from windows, even if the window offered light or a pleasant view. Cold air sinks at night, and old builders understood this without needing thermometers. You can apply this today by moving your bed off exterior walls, especially in winter. In apartments or modern homes where options are limited, placing a solid headboard or bookcase between the bed and an exterior wall recreates the thermal buffer grandparents relied on. Older bedrooms were often compact. High ceilings might exist in older homes, but sleeping areas themselves were kept tight. A smaller volume of air holds warmth longer, which mattered when fires burned out overnight. Large bedrooms are a modern luxury that comes with higher heating costs and poorer sleep consistency. Well, if you happen to live in a large bedroom, you can recreate this effect by zoning the sleeping area. Now, using heavy curtains, folding screens, or even tall wardrobes can help reduce the air volume around the bed. This ain't just about decoration, folks. It's thermal control using some good old-fashioned logic. The head of the bed, it followed airflow, not fashion. You see, our grandparents, they paid close attention to airflow. Beds were aligned so drafts didn't blow across the sleeper's head or chest. Before moving the bed, they mentally mapped out windows, doors, and vents. The aim was to have still air around the sleeper while letting stale air naturally escape the room. Now, in our modern homes, ceiling fans and HVAC vents can often undo this logic. But by redirecting vents away from the bed or adjusting fan direction with the seasons, we follow the same principle. Air should be circulating around the room, not directly over the body while you sleep. Bedrooms were positioned to receive morning light, not afternoon heat. East-facing windows were preferred when possible. This helped regulate waking patterns and reduced overheating later in the day. Curtains were thick, functional, and closed early in the evening to trap warmth. You can apply this by managing light intentionally. Blackout curtains are modern tools doing an old job. Allow morning light to enter while blocking late-day heat. Light was treated as a biological tool, not decoration. Wardrobes, dressers, and chests were not placed randomly. They often lined exterior walls to add insulation. A full wardrobe against a cold wall reduced heat loss while keeping clothing dry. Empty walls were considered wasteful in cold climates. So modern minimalism, it kind of removes this buffer we've talked about. If your bedroom happens to have a cold wall, placing storage furniture there can really restore this sort of forgotten function. Even something like a bookshelf filled with books adds a bit of thermal mass and helps stabilize the temperature. Cold floors, well, they used to be a pretty serious problem. Rugs were thick, layered, and always placed with intention. The bed was hardly ever positioned where bare floor met a draft, that's for sure. In some regions, folks used raised beds to let that cold air pass beneath, while thick bedding kept things insulated above. In modern homes with tile or laminate flooring, placing dense rugs under and around the bed, it really helps restore warmth and cuts down on heat loss. Plus, it improves sound absorption, which is another benefit folks often overlook. Bedrooms were placed away from kitchens, workshops, and common areas whenever possible. Sleep was treated as a protected activity. Walls between rooms were thick or filled with storage to reduce sound transfer. Modern open-plan homes ignore this. You can reclaim the old approach by using furniture placement to block noise paths. Heavy curtains, bookcases, and upholstered furniture absorb sound far better than empty walls. Despite concerns about cold, fresh air mattered. Windows were cracked strategically, often at the top, to allow stale air to escape without chilling the sleeper. This reduced moisture, mold, and respiratory issues long before these problems had names. So today, this means controlled ventilation. Just a slightly opened window along with some warm bedding can really improve sleep quality even when it's cold outside. The key thing here is having airflow above the bed, not right across it. Back in the day, grandparents used layered bedding because, well, rooms were just expected to cool down overnight. Mattresses were insulated from below, too. Wool, cotton, and feather layers trapped heat without causing you to overheat. And, the whole room layout supported this by minimizing drafts and cold surfaces. These days, modern synthetic bedding often tries to make up for poorly arranged rooms. But if you improve the layout first, you can actually use lighter, healthier bedding choices that regulate temperature naturally. Nothing unnecessary lived in the bedroom. No excess electronics, no clutter that trapped damp air, no furniture without purpose. The layout supported rest, warmth, quiet, and health. You can apply this by, removing items that generate heat, light, or noise at night. The old approach treated sleep as maintenance, not entertainment. Energy efficiency, sleep quality, and resilience during power outages all benefit from these forgotten principles. When heating fails or energy costs rise, layout becomes as important as technology. Grandparents designed bedrooms that functioned without electricity, and that knowledge remains useful. If you want a bedroom that stays warm longer, sleeps quieter, and supports real rest, the answers are already behind us. They were learned through necessity and refined over generations. If this kind of practical historical knowledge matters to you, go ahead and subscribe to Wisdom for the Journey, share this guide with others who value real-world lessons, and help keep these hard-earned principles alive.